Hello everyone and welcome to my Coronation Street official today. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Because what we are about to unpack today is one of the most devastating, jaw-dropping storylines this show has delivered in years. And you do not want to miss a single word of it. David Platt has done some truly unthinkable things over the years on Coronation Street. We have watched him scheme, manipulate, spiral and somehow find his way back each time. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, could have prepared viewers for this. David has been living a double life, secretly married to another woman, all while remaining deeply entangled in his existing relationships. His family, and the world he has built on the cobbles of Weatherfield. The moment the truth comes crashing into the open, it does not just shake the people closest to him, it obliterates the foundation of trust that everything around him was built on. And honestly, I cannot believe we are even saying this out loud. This is not a rumor. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a full, deliberate, calculated second marriage that David kept buried for what feels like an eternity. The fallout is immediate, it is explosive, and it is heartbreaking in every single direction you look. What makes this storyline so uniquely painful to watch is how it was built. This did not explode out of nowhere. For weeks leading up to the revelation, there were signs quietly piling up. Missed calls that David would brush off with barely a second glance, unexplained absences that he covered with vague half answers, cryptic messages that vanished from his phone faster than they appeared, and moments where he would zone out mid conversation as though part of his mind was somewhere else entirely, somewhere none of them were allowed to follow. Individually, each of those moments could be explained away. People get busy, people get distracted, but when you lay them all side by side, the pattern becomes impossible to unsee. And that is precisely what happens. Those closest to David start connecting dots they wish they had never noticed. And the slow burn tension of watching them get closer and closer to the truth is almost unbearable. There is this thick, suffocating atmosphere of unease that creeps into every scene, every glance, every exchange word between characters who sense something is deeply wrong, but cannot yet name it. And then it happens. The moment of exposure arrives, and I have to tell you, it is nothing short of seismic. The reveal itself is a masterclass in high stakes drama. There is no soft landing here, no carefully managed conversation where David gets to control the narrative. The truth erupts into the open, raw, and unfiltered, and the reactions from those around him are absolutely devastating to witness. Some are struck completely silent, the kind of silence that hits harder than any scream. Others confront him head on, voices cracking under the weight of emotion, demanding answers that David cannot find the words to give. Imagine sitting across from someone you have loved and trusted, completely realizing in one shattering instant that they had been an entirely different person behind your back. The kind of person you would never have chosen. That is the reality these characters are suddenly living. For Shona, this betrayal lands with a particular cruelty. She has stood by David through darkness that would have sent most people running. She has revealed herself alongside him, trusted him with parts of herself that were hard won and fragile. And now this, I genuinely cannot imagine how that feels. To have your sense of security dismantled not by a stranger, but by the one person you believed in most. Her reaction is not just anger, though there is plenty of that, it is grief. It is the grief of losing the version of David she thought she knew, which in many ways is even more painful than losing David himself. And she is not alone in that grief. The entire Platt family is left reeling, each of them processing the betrayal through their own personal lens of shock, disappointment, and a kind of confused heartbreak that does not have an easy name. What is so compelling about the way the story is written is that it does not let David off the hook, but it also does not reduce him to a cartoon villain. Instead, it digs into the psychology of what actually drives a person to construct a second life. This is not a man who stumbled into a mistake, this is a man who built something carefully, deliberately, brick by brick, out of a combination of deep-seated fear, insecurity, and a desperate, almost compulsive need to feel in control of something when everything else felt uncontrollable. David's second marriage is not glamorous, it is not romantic, it is a tangle, suffocating web of lies that grows heavier with every passing day. Every new cover story, every moment he has to choose which version of himself to be. And you can feel that weight radiating off the screen, the pressure building, the cracks swarming, the inevitable collapse approaching like a freight train he cannot stop. The second woman at the center of this storyline is also a fascinating and complicated addiction to the narrative. Her presence does not simplify things, it deepens them. Her existence forces David to face the consequences of his deception from multiple directions simultaneously. Because she too has feelings, questions, and a reality that has been constructed on a foundation of half truths. The interactions between these characters are electric in the most painful way. Every scene charged with unspoken revelations, every conversation threatening to tip over into something that cannot be taken back. The writers handle this with remarkable care, balancing moments of raw, combustible confrontation with quieter, more inward scenes that allow the emotional weight of the situation to breathe and settle in the audience's chest. As the chaos deepens, David finds himself in a kind of isolation he has never quite experienced before. His explanations fall apart before they even fully form. His justifications ring hollow not just to those around him, but increasingly to himself. The man who has always had an angle, always had a way out, suddenly finds himself cornered by the truth in a way that strips away every layer of defense he has ever built. Watching him in that space, exposed, unmasked, unable to perform his way out of the situation, is as compelling as it is uncomfortable, because this is a man confronting himself, possibly for the first time in a very long time. Meanwhile, Weatherfield does what Weatherfield always does. It watches, it talks, the gossip moves through the street like a current, amplifying the pressure on David and everyone connected to him, until there is simply nowhere left to hide. The community's reaction adds yet another dimension to an already layered story, reminding us that on a street this close knit, personal devastation is truly never private. And when the dust finally settles, it doesn't feel like an ending at all. It feels like the beginning of something even darker. Because this isn't just about a lie being exposed, it's about a man who no longer knows who he really is. And that's where it gets truly unsettling. What makes this twist hit so hard isn't just the betrayal, it's the pattern. David didn't just make one bad choice, he built an entire second reality piece by piece, and that tells us something deeper is broken, something he can't keep hiding anymore, and even if he tries. And honestly, this is where I think the story becomes less about shock and more about consequences, because secrets like this don't just disappear. They echo, they change how people see you, how they trust you, and sometimes there is no way back. So the real question now is, can David ever reveal what he's destroyed, or has he finally crossed the line that he can't undo? And more importantly, should he even be forgiven this time? Because let's be real for a second. How do you come back from living two lives at once without losing both? Looking ahead, I have a feeling this isn't the last secret waiting to surface. Not even close. If anything, this could open the door to even more truths, ones that might hurt even more than this. So stay close, because the next chapter might not just test David, it might completely redefine him. And tells me this: if you were in Shauna's place, would you walk away or risk everything for someone who's already broken your trust? Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely want to know where you stand on this one, because the storyline has people divided and the conversation is too good not to have. If you felt every single twist of this breakdown, please give it a thumbs up. It truly helps this channel grow more than you know. And if you are not subscribed yet, now is the perfect time, because the drama on Coronation Street is only getting bigger from here. We are going to be right here to break it all down with you, every step of the way.